sí, generalmente me dicen que en español son... Bueno, a ver.
No, mira.
Mira.
Escúchalo.
Ya.
Ahora lo escucha.
Ahora lo escucha. Alrighty.
Hello.
Welcome to the Stoned Witches podcast. Because we live in an era where witches don't get burned, they get stoned.
Ta-da! She just came out with this. So, and she's so proud of it. And I'm like, okay, definitely have to bring that. She's someone in Gemini. What can we do? She's a storyteller. So, what are we doing here? I can give you a bit of an explanation. It's going to take a second. So, Marianne and I, we are friends, and probably many of you had this conversation while smoking weed and thinking like, oh my god, this is so deep, I should record. I think it's one of these universal truths. Like, we all thought that, but you just don't do it. It's just common sense. It's just like not to do it. But we just brought this one step further. We're like, no, actually, we should really record something.
Our conversations when we're stoned.
Exactly. So the format is the snow format. There is a Celtic format. We're like, gonna have dinner, maybe gonna talk about the topic. Not even that. So we're sitting here with a topic that is just gonna
unfold.
Yeah, I mean that's how it works, no?
Right. But there was like a specific spiciness that we said that this podcast format would have. It's like witches coming together, getting stoned, and then recording a conversation with a lot of like shameless witches laughter. Like, and we're gonna probably just like cackle half of the time.
Yeah, because that's the rule.
So this is also like a space of permission to like, let out your witches' laughter for the world to hear.
Yeah. Spirits are getting happy and unhappy at the same time. So the rule says that whatever we do with spirits work and ritual work is actually protected with the power of laughter. And this is something that, I remember when I went to like a shamanic ritual, there was this with the shaman and the spirits. Like, this is a real story. It's just not me, just kind of with something. And we will see like these entities around. It's like, Georgia, we're starting with this, okay. And then the shaman was like, just laugh, because I went into this laugh and I was like, you just laughed at this, and that completely changed the space. So the shaman was inviting us to laugh every 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
In chaos magic, we use laughter as a form of like banishing as well. Like, if you do a ritual, call in like some energies you work with, and it's like, okay, now like we're done with the work, everything can like go back.
That makes sense.
And then you see like everybody starts laughing, like, like at the beginning it's like a bit forced, right? Because you have to, but the more people like enter the laugh, if you're in a group, the more than the natural cackle and laughter comes out.
It's so good. I went to this laughter yoga class. And it was amazing. This guy we're just laughing for an hour. And people were so annoyed. Yeah, it was just a laughing. We're just doing yoga and laughing at each pose for like 4 or 5 minutes. And people were getting so angry.
It's a core workout.
Yeah, my face was just collapsing by the end of it. And so people were like, I don't get it. And I'm like, girl, you're a fucking yoga laughing class. It's like, are you expecting to like baking cookies? Like, what? Anyway, so we spent 15 minutes doing this. Really, really regenerating. Yeah, very, very good.
Regenerating, rejuvenating. There's like a tapping into like innocence in a way also with laughter, right? Like you're like somehow like you're the core of you that is unburdened in a way.
Yeah.
What I also like about like the finishing a ritual with laughter is this sort of like attitude of like, fuck yeah, the magic's done, we did the silly thing. And it's gonna fucking work because we're doing magic, right?
Yeah, it's like, taking a piece on and with the universe. It's like, I believe it so much that I express the joy and the shameless, because I mean, this thing of like, a laugh is such a vulnerable spot if you think of it. It's very interesting, like how people are scared of laughing too much, or too, yeah, or too loud.
Too loud.
And then you do these rituals, and it's like it just comes out, and then you got these pockets in which you see people going into this mercurial childhood, teenager, whatever space, and then it just closed up again.
And especially for women, I think they like there's a lot of, I think, restraint in the laugh of not laughing too loud, not falling
Yeah,
too
there is
out
a
of
shame in existing as a woman. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's just like, what is proper, and if you connect to this very childlike energy, society doesn't promote that much. But I have a question for you.
Ooh, questions.
Speaking
I love
of
questions.
this, it's just like we go, like, okay, there is this thing of like the word witch. It's just like this is something when I'm in Berlin, I'm very open to, because all my friends are literally wizards and witches and dragons and God knows what. When I'm here, I realize it's like, because I generally feel I'm one of the most like normal persons I know. I just like I'm at my business, and every time people are like, it's like I just literally I'm so boring. Like, go to the gym, I have rice, it's like without garlic. I make my own bread. It's like, which kind of person am I? Anyway, speaking of, what do you think about this idea of witch? There is a already very charged word, because people get like when you use the word shaman, and people come up with all this like rules of what is supposed to be what, and How do you deal with that in a urban reality? Being a witch is like being a urban witch.
What I've come up lately with as an acronym, it's like not perfect in the sense of acronym, but like woman in touch with her chaos. Yeah, I think the witch, in a way, is a woman that's quite liberated from social constraints, in a way that doesn't really play by the rules of the social game. She's an edge dweller, so that she kind of doesn't fit and belong anywhere, but she's in service to the community still, in a way. Usually, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe it's like, I love Granny Weatherworks kind of like archetype of witch. It's just like, I'm gonna bitch about all of you. I'm still here to serve you with a little bit of mind foxing.
I will totally see you with that. Just like going around and it's like, okay, let's talk about philosophy now.
But I live at the edge of the forest, but in my case I live in my magical refugium in Prenzlauer Berg that has like a photo tapestry of a forest at least.
Yeah, but it's I think, okay, can I say something?
Yeah.
Go controversial. It's like we have this idea of like nature romance core. It's like literally every person I know of our age. So we're going like 30s, 40s or whatever. And we're like, oh, you know what? I'm so stressed by the city. And like now we just want to go back to nature. I will manage. I think we love this idea just to release our nervous system from the fucking which we are. But I'm like, guys, I mean, to be like 20 hours a day on Instagram, like, no, I don't know. I'm not. I've done this. I moved to a place with 10,000 people in like 2 years ago. And I was like, yeah, you walk in nature. I don't know. So, yeah. I think, I'm just saying, I think this idea of 65, 67, oh, amazing. Going back to Sicily, small village, eating fucking croissant with pistachios. And if I can eat gluten by then, with gluten, who cares at that point? Yeah, then I could see nature, You read a newspaper, probably no. By then, it's just going to be in there and just going to scroll the air to read the newspaper. But yeah, no, not before the age. Or are you already in this romantic? Have you had already the thing? Okay, let's go with the stages. Have you had this thing with your friends? It's like, let's buy a piece of land and do a community. Okay, perfect, check. Then did you try? Did you try to do this with a single partner? Because the problem is, no, it's not a collective. So we're going to personal. Yeah, so you have it. Now, that's the third stage, Mariana. We have to embrace the city. That's how it works. It's very easy. Everyone I know is like, we try to do this thing, then you try to move in the park, it's whatever, and then you go back in town. You're welcome.
Well, I think I think I'm still city bound for a bit.
Yeah, I think you are.
And there's like, as much as like I find the city stressful and annoying and I don't participate much around it, I like to joke that like I live in my apartment and Berlin is around it.
She's now joking. Actually, I always come here. You never yeah. No, fuck her.
But I've always been that way, that it's kind of like I hold, I claim a spot and then I hold space in that spot.
Yeah, I'm the same when I have my own flat. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And people come to me. That's the deal.
Just come to the priestess. I'm gonna feed you.
Come to the witch at the end of the forest,
Yeah.
in the middle of Prenzlauer Berg. But there's also a thing about the city, and especially about Berlin, like there's like high amount of chaos energy.
How do you... I mean, where do you see that? How does it work practically? When you say the chaos energy is like is on the people on the streets doing art. It's like, how do you sense it? How does it look like?
How does it look like? Yeah, it's a very good question. I have not painted that picture yet, but I'm gonna throw some Discordian philosophy at you.
Yes, please.
To explain that.
So the brain made that too long of a jump. Sorry, I can take that back.
So, one of the greater mindfucks from Discordian philosophy that's sort of like liberated my perspective on chaos was that chaos is not the opposite of order.
Yeah.
But chaos is like beyond order and disorder, because order and disorder are man-made concepts from the thinking apparatus. Right.
While she's saying that, she's like touching like her forehead with the with a finger and just moving it around. Like it's always scarier than that you think.
Thank you for illustrating that.
You're welcome.
And so chaos is more kind of like the prima materia that comes out of void, through which like the creative act is itself of birthing things into existence, right? And then comes like, the dance of order and disorder. And in this dance of order and disorder, we have also bipolarity. There's creative order, nice structures, neat bureaucracies that support the flow of things, good Saturn, a good base, but that's supportive so that like creativity can flourish, because it creates a sense of safety perhaps, or And but on the other side, order can become destructive, right? Like totalitarian, suffocating, over bureaucratic monsters of
Saturn on steroids.
Yeah, right. So destructive order, creative order. At the same side, creative disorder, would be like, there's a lot of like civil disobedience here in Berlin, like nobody gives a fuck of the rules, and they like street art and like creativity erupting all around the city that's not regulated. And there's a lot of like anarchic and potential and like like things happening, disruption, Uranus and like creative Uranus coming in. So like creative disorder, and there's also destructive disorder, that what usually people think of as chaos, but it's only one of 4 aspects of chaos. And all these aspects like have a nice balance, and in the friction between the one state and the others, where you get like kind of like this chaotic energy, with which I think that you can sort of like tap in to do magic.
Solved it. You solved it. No, because I'm thinking about what you were saying, in astrological terms, because the division is different. But I'm just trying to mix in the archetypes, because, the thing is, you're describing like what the quality of Saturn, of limits, within the frame of Uranus as well. It's like Uranus got this structure chaos, or you know that in astrology they are separated. There is a separation there. Though, what is interesting is that Aquarius, the sign of the squad by definition, is co-ruled by Saturn and Uranus. So there is this mix that has to do like with the three-dimensional and what goes beyond that. So there is an astrological logic around that as well. Yeah. You know, when you're looking at Aquarius as a fixed energy, and I think you see that's the fixed part of chaos that could be there. And also, the disruptive at its own best.
And then I think also that reality is very unstable in a city like Berlin, because if you think if you think about it from the perspective that we do create a lot of our reality experience, right? Each of us lives in their own little filtered chaos, right?
Yeah.
And you don't perceive even half the shit that's happening out there because, you know, your consciousness, your conscious mind
I
just
mean,
like
you're binded to the three-dimensional or like what is tangible around you, because the thing is, depending the place in which you are, also energetically, you're expressing it. I mean, I see this like, you know, astrologically, depending where you are, you can invoke a different kind of energy. So, and I think we also forget that people like, you know, just go here, just go there. It's like, it's not that simple. In terms of spirits of the land, when you're doing a certain kind of work, it's not that you just open the four directions wherever you go. It's anyway.
I don't have so much to do with spirits. Like, my approach to magic is more psychological and information model based.
You go to the Aquarian, I go to the Piscean.
Which is weird, right? Because I'm the 12th houser. No, you're also 12th houser.
Yeah, I'm a 12th houser.
Aquarius, 12th.
Everything in Pisces is just like, I told you, with being unemployable, this is what I can do. Talking on spirit stuff. I'm like, I'm really going towards my mission right now. I should write it in my book. Getting stoned and talking. Anyway.
Yeah, book writing.
Where did that come from? Book writing. So let's talk about book writing. So what do you want to tell us, Mariana? Are you writing a book?
Not yet, I'm not, but...
Why?
Because I have not the time and spaciousness for it yet, because I'm still struggling to get enough coin into my business for my services, so that I can like actually.
Because we are witches in capitalistic society. and you're like, you have to hold space, but also you have to pay the rent.
Yeah.
How beautiful is that? The beauty of brothers. Ciao, meow meow. Ciao.
The cat entered the room.
Yeah, it's like me completely losing focus. Ciao, Delphine. You know, cats are my weak spot. I'm a cat lady. I was volunteering for a cat shelter for 7 years. I was one of these freaks, which is like we collect food and then it was inside this park. I would get in every Sunday for fucking years in the morning, and I would get in, and all these cats would just kind of come up from all the sides of the park in a line. So we'll have the 16 cats lined up. I mean, that probably was a bit of a hint towards my adult life, but who knows?
Like, we all end up as crazy cat ladies.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, you already have 2 cats.
Already have 2
you're
cats.
on the way.
Yeah,
I'm like,
on the way.
you know, I barely have like 2 pillows at my place. That's the max commitment I'm having at the moment. So it's a bit different. 2 cats is quite. But they help you regulate. How does it work with your magic and the cats? Do you feel the cats feel it?
The cats are definitely very good co-space holders here, I feel. Like when I have sessions or host rituals, I feel kind of like they also take care. They're also good trip sitters, you know, they're around like tripping. So, people say cats like suck out the negative energy of the room, so like so they have like they do like a energetic cleaning service to the space. So when you see like cats chilling around all day, they're actually like working in the astral.
Poor thing.
No. a round of Black Cat Appreciation. Like 2 days ago, something was like Black Cat Appreciation Day.
It was like, you want to use it for something? Or it just
No,
came out?
there's something like there's a meme going around of like there being a Black Cat Appreciation Day because there are like so many people that are still in this like superstition
Really?
space around black cats apparently.
Oh, wow.
So there's like a little
I
initiative of some sort that kind of like every year goes like, today is Black Cat Appreciation Day.
Yeah, I mean, there is a day for everything at this point. The other day was like the donuts day. I'm like, do we need a day for donuts? I mean, I just work.
What?
I'm like, it's the day in which I'm eating like 2 donuts instead of 1. Like, why, like, who decides these things in the first place? Like, why are we having a day for everything? You just touch a spot there. I was about to ask you something that I forgot.
That happens on weed sometimes. You lose a train of thought.
Oh God, it's such an unfamiliar thing. I don't like that. I just like-
I like that in ADHD mode when it's like 2 ADHD dealers on weed and it's like, you know, conversation flows and directions and then but you always circle back to the topics and at the end you also like kind of like find closure in the different topics even
Yeah,
like
no,
if the
I mean,
threads go in every direction.
It's like I feel if there is anyone still listening to this, I have no idea why. It's just like you really have to invite openness because you have to surrender to this conversation. You know, it's just like I think the teacher in me is trying to put a couple of occasional spots here and there, fading gracefully, having this inner conflict right now. There is a part of me just like, I don't want to talk about my things because I think it's a really waste of air unless there is something interesting that you can extrapolate out of it. This is the first thought that I have. And the second one is like, fuck it. So I'm more into the fuck it part. But it's
Zero fucks.
but yeah, I think it's the teacher issue. Okay, let me go on with topics. It's like I feel when I do sessions, you know, with people, we go like in blocks. It's like, okay, now we talk about like your mission or we talk about your family. Mariana, what is your actual definition of success?
Ta-da! And she drops the Circuit 2 question. What is your definition of success?
She didn't see that coming. And
No,
honestly, I didn't see that coming.
Absolutely not.
No,
It
you
was
know,
a blind
it came
code.
up because I asked one of my clients like a couple of days ago. We had this very deep conversation, and then because it's this thing, you know, when I work with people, it's very bi-directional, right? So like I support them, but of course after sessions I sit with them, I'm like, okay, what I'm learning out of this, I always feel and there was this whole thing around success, and that's the problem. Sometimes I ask very good questions to my client, and then I have to get stuck with them as well.
It's like the question that dropped that I also don't have an answer to.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm like, oh, that's an interesting question. It's like it's pondering. It's like you could just spend the day just pondering about shit. It's just like I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. Oh, whatever. But it's a good question because I think, you know, it's very mutable, but it's interesting because in the society we got this idea that you grow up with success with a certain frame, and we just don't even give the space for us to think that it changes. That, you know, because you're like, yeah, of course, when I'm 60, I don't care about the things. But conceptually, like, we are in this, I'm supposed to have it sorted and the hamster wheel and whatever, so.
When I last answered that question for myself, because a teacher actually asked me that question, or like was part of the entire Ali course of like define what is success to you, and I answered something a bit meta, like
I wasn't expecting anything.
like success is if I have the capacity to reach the goals I set to myself.
I like it. It's very like a Diary of a CEO podcast. I love it. Like there is a white bro, like 35, he just got a startup close to Google. We like, you know, if you got consistency, you got your proteins, you got the answers. I love that because I also do the same. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a good point.
And that's also how you get a bit more control of the dopamine. Because, I mean, you can set your goals in a way that you can achieve them and increment gradually, you know,
And
they
then
get,
C2 just got
yeah, you know,
super
like
pumped.
you can super pump and validate your ego, you know, gain some self-worth,
So you see
like
now,
confidence.
there is the teacher in me that is suffering because I feel I have to explain what a C2 is because I'm like, you see, my brain is just wired that way. It's just like, oh God. But it's interesting. That's the thing. Like C2 is one of the, oh God, it's one of
We
these
want to go
crazy
in there.
things. It's just, no, we don't want to go in there.
No.
I don't even know how to explain what you do. It's so interesting. I think it's a good sign. I think that's why you're good for this. Because it's something that is just even difficult to explain. At least with astrology, you got this idea that theoretically you know what you're talking about.
Well, at the end of the day, it's also just like a language and like a
Right.
conceptual breakdown in now very visual maps, but it's still like a way of communicating about a territory of the mind that's just very elusive and for which we need to find, you know,
Yeah, we need metaphors to keep the soul alive.
I love the quote of Robert Anton Wilson also, like human being live in their myths, they only endure their reality.
Oh, I like.
Good one,
Good
man.
I'm like, which kind of quote I remember and zero.
Like we're like, you know, we live in our stories as well.
Yeah.
The stories that play out in our head day in and out.
Amazing.
You know.
If you think about the
Story
technology.
about
Wow.
yourself, story about the world, the story about the others. La 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 la.
So much noise.
Blah 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 blah.
I love it.
I love it. Also, like when I introduce rituals and I'm like kind of a little bit of feisty, I say like, all right, we're gonna do it like this. First, there's some blah blah, and then we do the tam tam. So first do the blah blah, and then like a bit of storytelling and ritual explanation, and then like this we're gonna do it. Oh, now the tam tam, and then like perform the ritual.
Good way to put it. Okay, Marian, I'm gonna give you an answer to no. You can ask a question to me. I'm gonna give you an answer, and then I think it's been a long time. I don't know if I have a distorted sense of time right now, but I think it's been some time now.
You think it's time to wrap it up?
We can bring one more question.
You want me to ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay, and
she's touching her hair. She's touching her hair.
And I'm gonna light the joint for one more time and just like look at you for a moment.
It's very intimidating. I just want to say right now.
Why is that intimidating?
We are on the sofa. She's looking at me with the Mars in Scorpio look. It's like
the Mars in Scorpio look.
I know things you don't know. You will never know from 7 lives ago. You're like, fuck. Yeah. You see the category. Perfect synchronicity timing. You ever heard that? The cat that just went into a long,
Meow.
Affirmative meow. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
I think you rather want something. So the last question.
The last question. You know, you could think this is an exercise. If there would be a last question you would like to be asked that you answer to before you die, which one that would be?
Well, now you asked the question. Was a very mind-fucking one. What is the last question you want to get before you die? The one that you will never get to answer and take to your grave.
No. Necesito. No.
No?
Pero, you have to give me an answer. Like, it's a question. I mean, I'm dying. I have the right to have the answer.
Like your dying question that you answer, that just ask somebody because you really want the answer.
It could be. I think it could be both directions. I think because my idea was for some reason I don't know, that is like you were getting this interview, you know, and this was like your last the last question you can answer to as some sort of interview. So you see there is this double aspect because it's something that you want to deliver to the community somehow. Like what is one thing that you want to clarify for the collective?
Your last words.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, that was, I'm not answering that question, was I just a reflection of your question?
So I have a question.
Yeah. How are you going to dye your hair next week?
No. What would be for you la bella ars moriendi?
I mean, who am I to judge? I just said, think about the last question you like to be asked before you die. Like, so I don't know yet to judge you. But Mariana, it was very tiring. Mariana,
Like unrelated to the question just before that, like what would you say is like the art of a good death?
You know, it's interesting because I think there are as many death as many life that we go. I think like death has this rich varieties. Like I see this with people, you know, just like we got different interests and passions. And I think some people qualify to, like, you know, we got these ideas like, I want to die in my sleep. I'm like, I don't think I want to. I think it's too easy. It's just like, I would like to die during an orgasm. It's just like,
go out with a bang.
Yeah.
Heart attack on the orgasm.
Oh, yes, like that. It's like, be dramatic, I know, but I just like, whoa. It's just like one last...
And you're lost.
Yeah, but it's really this question.
Thanatos et Eros,
Yeah,
like powerful.
So,
like the meeting of Thanatos et Eros. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, that's my way to go.
Oh, I think I'm gonna steal that. You know.
Anytime. There's space for everyone.
Yeah. Let's go for that. Death at orgasm.
Yeah, because you know, like with the sleep, I think I wouldn't like to die in my sleep. I would like to have one of these out-of-body experiences in my sleep. It's just like, you know, you die for 10 minutes, then you come back. That would be interesting, just to, you know, to see how some things work. But like the full process, no, I think it's missing a bit of the Plutonian.
Dramatic.
Yeah.
For me, for a while, it was about like going out in some form of like Rausch.
Oh.
So like I don't like the English word intoxication, but the German word Rausch.
Dramatic.
Kind of like, there's like a dramatic to it, like, you know, like you're in this like some form of ecstasy through altered state of consciousness in a way. It's the way Leary opted out, by the way. He wanted to die on acid.
Oh, that's another... That's interesting, but I think, again, it's also a lot. It's just like, I think I would like a certain level of consciousness of the 3D when I'm going somewhere else. But I don't know. You know, very, very open regarding this. I think, yeah, psychedelics. You know, that's an entire series. But I mean, I think everyone should try a certain form of psychedelic at least once. And when I think this, I'm like, George, I think about your mom. That would be amazing. Like, that would be, you know, we think about this healing and we're doing all these rituals. It's like how healing would be doing like some mushrooms with my mom. Incredible. Yeah, but it's not happening this lifetime. Like, no way on earth. So it's okay.
I don't think so either with my mom.
What is this?
And the cat.
Oh.
It's like asking for some food. You need to wrap it up.
Yeah, food. Okay, cat ladies.
Cat ladies, a cat.
So first witches, but mostly cat ladies. So cats asking for food. So then we have to go.
Yeah.
That's
it,
very
I think.
easy.
Yeah,
So
easy.
if you have any questions. I don't know which kind of questions can you get out of this, but if you got to this point, I congratulate you for your mind expanded for sure. You increase your capacity of resistance. Bravi, molto bravi. You improved probably your Spanish and Italian skills by now. You haven't noticed, but it's just in you.
Download direct transmission from Georgia and Mariana. Stoned.
How long do you think it was? What's the number? I think we went for 40 minutes 52 seconds. What do you think?
I think like 55 minutes.
Amore, ciao, ciao. Io ti sfupazzo tutto. Ciao. Someone is here protesting. Is like, girl. We are calling. What are you doing?